To understand how modern brands survive, we have to look at the environment they evolved from. For most of the 20th century, corporate branding relied on absolute mechanical repetition. You stamped the exact same logo onto every product, billboard, and letterhead. Traditional trademark law demands strict, unwavering consistency. To claim legal ownership over a logo, a company must prove it acts as a reliable source identifier in the minds of consumers. However, any slight deviation dilutes that claim. But digital environments require a different kind of survival strategy. Constant engagement across social feeds, apps, and interactive media forces brands to adapt. They have to react to culture in real time, mutating to hold our attention. Intellectual property attorneys classify these mutating identities as fluid marks. You interact with them daily. Think of search engine homepage logos that redraw to celebrate historical events, or app icons on your phone that shift shapes to signal updates. Adopting a fluid mark creates an immediate legal conflict. By constantly changing its appearance, a brand risks violating the core consistency requirements of the Lanham Act, effectively destroying its own legal protection. IP attorneys and brand strategists are caught in a trap. If they enforce rigid legal consistency, the brand becomes culturally irrelevant. If they allow unchecked fluid marketing, the brand loses its shield against infringement. From the outside, this constant mutation looks like unstructured creative chaos, but it is highly calculated. IP attorney Lisa Pearson maps this out using a specific diagnostic framework. She proves that fluid marks actually follow a highly structured taxonomy. They aren't random. They evolve into distinct operational species, like ornamenting, filling a frame, or changing the background. To make any of these species legally defensible, you first have to isolate the brand's distinctive DNA. These are the non-negotiable architectural pillars: the specific typography, the exact silhouette, or a proprietary color code. These pillars form the static foundation. They are the constants that hold the legal weight, allowing the rest of the brand to mutate freely around them. To legally protect an infinite number of variations, you must accurately diagnose which taxonomy species the mark belongs to and tightly register its corresponding architectural pillars. Deploying this taxonomy framework allows for a specific legal response to every branding variation, organizing chaos into a series of manageable IP categories. Let's analyze the first major branch of this taxonomy, ornamenting the mark. Here, the foundational architecture remains visible, but it gets temporarily embellished. The dominant real-world application of this species is the daily search engine doodle. The core letters remain structurally intact, while illustrators drape them in new artwork or temporarily obscure sections of them. The immediate IP risk here is visibility. If you obscure too much of that core design, you sever the consumer's connection to the registered source identifier. The legal mitigation strategy requires locking down the base template. The naked, unadorned mark must be registered as a fiercely strong, distinctive asset on its own. Between these ornamental campaigns, the brand owner must display that naked template frequently in regular commerce. This continuous use maintains its legal weight, acting as a reset button for its Lanham Act protections. There is also a secondary requirement. Every temporary embellishment must be cleared, ensuring no external copyrights are infringed. Ornamentation only works legally when that underlying registered template is robust enough to carry the entire burden of source identification by itself. The next taxonomy branch operates on a different principle entirely: filling a frame. This is a container-based approach to fluidity. It flips traditional trademark theory. Instead of protecting a specific completed image, the trademark protects an empty vessel. The internal content is freely swapped out. Early cable television networks pioneered this strategy. The legal power of this logo rests entirely on the unyielding geometric outline of the massive M and the TV graphic. The static colors and patterns inside are legally irrelevant. You can see a physical application of this strategy in the produce aisle. The legal anchor here is the specific blue and yellow ovular border. That border acts as a reliable frame, allowing the interior to cycle through highly variable third-party promotional characters.
The specific IP mechanism required to pull this off is securing trade dress or trademark registration strictly on the silhouette or bounding box. Securing the perimeter legally liberates the brand's graphic designers. They can execute endless partnerships with external intellectual property and deploy changing content without triggering a new trademark review for every iteration. In a frame-based fluid mark, the brand's enforcement power rests exclusively on its external boundaries. The internal chaos is contained and legally irrelevant. The inverse of the frame strategy is a branch called changing the background. Here, a rigid core mark sits on top of a constantly mutating, chaotic shape. The evolution of the Nickelodeon Splat across decades of television and film properties provides a clear look at this strategy in action. The background shape of this mark has a chaotic history. It shifted from abstract animations in early 1980s television bumps to customized 3D titles engineered for feature films. Yet the trademark survives because of two constants. The exact unchanging typography acts as the primary structural pillar, cutting through any shape. The secondary pillar is its color. A specific signature orange code anchors the identity across every iteration. By keeping these two specific pillars locked in place, the brand maintains continuous Lanham Act protection, easily bridging the gap between traditional broadcast media and digital platforms. Extreme physical shapeshifting does not destroy a trademark. As long as the core typography and the color pillars remain legally anchored and visually dominant, the background can morph endlessly. The furthest edge of this taxonomy involves digitally native, continuously moving, or algorithmically generated designs. Institutional entities, like university media labs, now deploy algorithms to generate a mathematically unique logo for every single student and faculty member in their network. Current trademark office protocols lack the mechanics to register a continuously mutating or algorithmic system. A registration requires a static image, which does not exist here. This forces a pivot in legal strategy. Brand owners operating in this space must rely heavily on common law trademark rights, rather than depending on rigid federal registration. They deploy Section 43A of the Lanham Act. This section provides broad prohibitions that protect unregistered source identifiers against uses likely to create confusion or deception in the marketplace. IP attorneys then build a proxy defense using supplementary protections. They patent the novel technological software generating the designs, and they secure copyrights for the specific digital artwork and animations output by the system. As technology pushes brands toward infinite, algorithmic fluidity, the goal of a single static registration becomes impossible. IP attorneys must instead construct dynamic safety nets out of unfair competition laws to capture and protect the brand. Diagnosing isolated species is only the first step. The ultimate goal is to construct a holistic, layered defense strategy applicable to any dynamic brand. If you fail to anchor the brand, you face the worst-case scenario. Unanchored fluidity eventually dilutes the asset until it reaches genericide, or results in the total legal abandonment of the mark. The core strategic imperative requires brand owners to ruthlessly separate the core concept of their identity from the individual, temporary iterations presented to the public. Visualize a protective matrix starting with the brand's irreducible core. The primary defense locks down static pillars, typography, color, silhouette, registering them federally. A secondary trade dress layer guards the overall look. An outermost safety net, using copyright and unfair competition laws, catches infinite daily variations. You do not attempt to register the fluidity, you rigidly register the anchor that makes the fluidity possible. True brand agility in a modern, hyperactive marketplace requires tighter, not looser, legal discipline at the architectural level. To successfully set a brand free to adapt, mutate, and live in modern culture, you must first construct an unyielding legal cage at its core.